Welcome to Bridging the Gap to Connections, the talk show, where we begin by sharing your stories and spotlighting your shine. Hello, welcome back to Bridging the Gap to Connections. This is Darla Williams here, and today is Mindful Mondays. I know that I took a little bit of a break, but let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about why. One, I was coming in and realizing that, I was carrying an old image and it was holding me in some old energy. So it was time to make some changes. So over the last few weeks, I have been missing in action because I have been creating the sign behind myself, bridging the gap to connections, really actually tuning into and fine tuning who I am. This is the episode called Mindful Mondays for Mental Health. One of the things I have to say is one of the most important pieces in what we are doing in life is taking the pause. And what do I mean by that? So many times in life, we have a goal, we have ambitions, we have desires, and we have an end idea of what we want. So we press in. We press in and we don't give up. We get worried about our algorithm. We get worried about what other people think. We get comments from people that stress us out. When are you going to get back to your show? When you're going to do this? And we think that we're actually hurting ourselves in the process. What I have learned over the last couple of weeks is there is truth in less is more. Taking the pause so others can find the value in what you're delivering. So I am super excited to begin again. This is season 2. I've had a couple people on already. So one of my biggest challenges to myself right now is I am actually attempting to find 100 new features. Now, I do have the show. The show is free. Y'all can come on. We can talk about different topics, different things. Mondays are Mindful Mondays for mental health. So anything in regards to mental health, I want you guys to sign up. It doesn't matter when we record it. I will air them on Mondays at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you've done a book, if you're featured in a book, if you have a book project, if you have an event, if you are an artist, if you have something in the entertainment purposes that you want to tell other people about and that you want the promotion out there and actually the opportunity to talk on a show about what you are doing with your books, with your art, with any events that you have up and coming, please get connected and we can record that and we can have a dialogue back and forth about whatever subject matter that is important to you and your project, making sure that people get a chance to hear what you're doing. Wednesdays, I want people who are in the spiritual world, educational world, or, just simple everyday tools, techniques, and things that are wise. How do we live a more world full of wisdom? So Wednesday words of wisdom is what I'm looking for, are those who want to come in and do the things and talk about the things that fill us with wisdom. Then we come to Thursdays. Thursdays are therapeutic Thursdays. I'm looking for those in the world who are willing to share a free gift as a tool to help people to regulate their nervous system, find a way to connect to themselves again, what type of mental therapies they can do to actually calm anxiety, different things like that. Therapeutic Thursdays. That's what we're here for. And we can, like I said, with every other day so far, we can record it anytime and put it up onto the channel for people to see it on the days that it is relevant. Then we have the Feature Friday. With everything, the cost of things that are starting to happen, me finding ways to things, I am going to have to expand in the second season and actually create a day that I am charging others. Now, I do know that I am worth more than what I'm willing to charge. And the reason why is because I still want this to be reasonable. I want this to be feasible, and I want to do this as a gift. So I'm only charging $49 for you to come on and be featured. So if you're coming in Monday through Thursday, you're just going to get your highlight. We're going to talk about it. We'll do one link and your name and the presentation of you during the show. If you're coming in on the feature side, I want you to understand, what are you going to be receiving? You're going to receive me actually in the full-on introduction with your bio, your photos, and all of the details in regards to what you are doing, who you are, and why you're doing it. So we're going to, for $49 only, and then I'm sitting over here, I'm piecing it all together, and I'm shooting it out everywhere, making sure that you have a video brought together to actually feature you and who you are. So that's what I'm charging for. And so I hope that that brings some clarity to what the show Bridging the Gap to Connections is all about. I'm so excited. I'm twisting my own words up because I'm so excited about what I'm doing. Literally, I took the time down, and I want to talk about the pause. And I want to just leave you guys there with just a couple words about it. The pause. When we pause, what does it mean to pause? I have to tell you that a couple years ago, when life threw me into a pause, I thought it was the end of my world. The end of the world as I knew it. I emotionally had never stopped a day in my life. So when I was thrown into the system and a circumstance where it literally made me stop and have to redirect and pivot my entire life, when that event in my life that made me do that, pausing felt absolutely uncomfortable. I hated sitting silently with myself. I couldn't stand the sounds that were going on upstairs. You know, when I talk about upstairs, up here in the head, when we have a lot of dialogue, the description, situations, memories, and things happening. And the reason why I'm so about mental health is because of the fact that a lot of those things are only happening because we have been hurt in a horrific way. We are normally dealing with trauma or CPTSD, PTSD, those types of things. And what happens is we get into a narrative in our mind and we're sort of stuck in a story. And because of that story, we can't seem to get out on our own. How do we get out? Well, the first place that we have to begin is taking the pause. A pause to actually reflect, to look at ourselves, to see who we really are. And that can be really hard for anybody. Most people cannot do that on their own. I don't think that even I, with all of the abilities and all the years and all the time that I've done stuff, can actually say I did it alone. There were friends that came along the way. There were family members that knew how to handle me when I was out of sorts. When my whole world seemed in desperation at certain points, which we've all had if we've gone through a trauma, I had to redesign me. I had to find those pieces, but I couldn't find them in the noise. I couldn't find them in the busyness. I couldn't find them seeking it from someone else. I had to pause. I had to turn within. And I had to find me. Taking the time to pause, even if it's just for a couple minutes a day, can literally rearrange the rest of your life. What is 5 minutes? How often do we scroll on our phones, stand around and chat with an absolute stranger, do idle time watching television? We could use 5 minutes to just tune in to ourselves and pause, meaning taking in a few deep breaths, sitting with our sound and listening to something that makes us feel relaxed. I have an amazing wind chime that I love to listen to. Now, that may be something someone likes, but there are a lot of people I know who don't like wind chimes. So, what I'm saying is find the appropriate way for you to pause and not have your mind off working, having conversations, doing this or that, but actually seeking you. What do you need? What do you want? Why do you want it? How can you get there? When you start asking yourself the questions of what do I really want, it isn't selfish. We really want things because that's what makes our life better. Wanting something isn't wrong. Sometimes it's really lined up with everything we are. Sometimes it's not. But if we're satisfying ourselves with something that's unhealthy, then maybe we really do need to take a minute to pause and ask ourselves why. But if we're doing things that are making ourselves better, doing the deep dive into ourselves, the shadow work, the sitting with ourselves and feeling our feelings, healing the inner child, and doing all the different things that we're doing for ourselves, maybe even then we need to pause and just sit in the stillness. A lot of people go out into nature when they need to pause. You realize you have a front door. Unless you're living outside already, you have a front door. You can always go outside. You can always walk somewhere. You can always pause and smell a flower. Even if it's while you're standing in the grocery store and you see the bouquets of all the flowers in the floral department. It may just be going and stepping outside and taking a deep breath. But aren't you worth taking a few minutes and pausing so that you can actually begin taking the steps that it will take for you to regulate? Our emotions are in motion at all times. Sometimes we're okay and we're just feeling good. Sometimes we're feeling out of sorts and overwhelmed. But no matter how we're feeling, isn't it our responsibility to stop, pause, and take a deep breath? Tune into the moment of here and now, and realize that each and every one of us are absolutely worth the time it takes to pause for just a moment and take care of ourselves. When we take care of ourselves first, it automatically sets us up to actually be able to help those around us. But when we're too busy chasing after helping everyone else and not focusing in on us, we lose the direction and gas ourselves out and cause ourselves more anxiety than we should actually be living in. So I ask you today, take a moment with me right now, wherever you're at in the world. If you're driving in the car and you're listening to me, don't do it in the car. Don't close your eyes. Pay attention to your road, but you can still pause. You drive on autopilot 95% of the time anyways. So what I'm going to say is pay attention to the road. If you could sit somewhere quietly for just a moment, go ahead and close your eyes with me. I want you to take in a deep breath. Pull that breath all the way down. far as you can. Sip the air, like breathe it in through your mouth like you're breathing through a straw. Hold it at the bottom. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Inhale through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. Come back to the moment and realize taking a moment to pause, taking in a couple deep breaths can totally rearrange your mental space, your mood, and your mind. Aren't you worth taking a few minutes just to breathe? Nothing is going to burn away and fall apart without you. They can wait just a moment. You're worth it. Take the time to breathe into you and give yourself the opportunity to pause. And then get up and continue with whatever it is you're ready to continue with. Don't allow the events and the circumstances and the situations around you to run you. Remember, you are in charge of you. And if you don't know how to do that or where to begin actually accepting that, please don't hesitate to reach out. I am an intuitive transformational life coach, and I am here to help other people find the way to a healthy life for themselves because I've done it for me. And I really do love helping assist others out of the abuse, learning how to survive, and ultimately turn themselves into conscious thrivers where they can actually be so proud, just as I am. I'm proud of myself. The steps that I've taken, the things that I've done, the rearranging that I did within myself to stop myself from repeating patterns, doing the things I used to do, and developing the skills that were necessary for me to build the boundaries so that I could begin living the life I truly do deserve to live. And so do you. On that note, I do want to let you all know, anyone listening in, I want you to know right now, I have just begun assisting someone in finding the resources to put together a gala for next year. We're looking to find people who want to donate to help us put this gala together. What are we doing a gala for? We're doing the gala for an opportunity to talk with investors and others that are on board to bring together the production of a film that is going to bring awareness to domestic violence. And if you feel a tug in your heart to find a way to help contribute, if you have $1, if you have thousands of dollars, it doesn't matter where you're at. What I'm asking you is, if you feel it on your heart, if you know someone who has been affected by domestic violence or yourself, and you would like to get involved and you want to know what you can do to help us to bring this together, to bring real awareness to domestic violence, you can reach out to myself or Simone Fairchild. And all you got to do is connect with me and I will get you the direct link to her where we can begin pulling the resources together. So I want you to go ahead, watch, share, subscribe, share this with other people. Let people know that it's okay to pause, to take care of themselves. And that if they're in danger, that there are steps that they can take and they can reach out anytime. This is Darla Williams signing off from Bridging the Gap to Connections. It's just another episode with me on Monday, Mindful Mondays for mental health. Until next time, bye for now.